Well, this morning in here in the brewery, we're going to start something new. A new idea. We're going to try and make some alcoholic ginger beer. Now, I've done that before, but in the past I've combined like a pills and then flavoured with ginger and taken it from there. This time we're going to do complete ginger beer and here in the Grainfather. So let's go out and see if we can find some ginger first. I'm going to use around about 5 kilo of ginger, and we're going to really, rather than putting grain into the Grainfather, we're going to put ginger into there. And rather than putting in hops, we're going to put some spices like ginger or star anise and a few other cardamom, and we're going to put that in there to replace it. So that's our attempt for today. So here we are at the market, and look at that piece ginger. And how much a kilo? 80 baht a kilo. Okay, so get some nice stuff. Yeah. I want to get a little bit of galangal too, yeah? And some lemongrass.
พี่ซ้อนก็ได้โอเค
มันจะแตกใช่ไหม
ใช่ มันแตกเลย
อ๋อโอเคนี่นะดู
Okay. So ginger and galangal, 80 baht a kilo, yeah? So back at the brew room, I've prepared the Grainfather boiler. I've put in 17 litres, and this is just an estimate, but similar to what I'd normally do to this level of grain, of water, and I'm going to heat that up to 66. And I'm going to do this like a brew of beer, nothing different, yeah? So let's see. We're back in the kitchen now, so we'll just have coffee. So I'm just chopping up the ginger into slices. We don't want to jam this fella up. And I'm not just a rough chop. You can see what I've done already. Yeah, we don't want to blend it. We just want to get a rough chop of ginger. There, and we're going to put that into the brewery. Yeah, so there it is there. Yeah, it gets a little bit more. Just get it there and slice skin. The skin has yeast in it, or can make yeast, and this is where you make a ginger bug. So I'm not getting rid of that at all. I think there's all the goodness of the ginger, but the smell of this ginger is just fantastic. So we get that, throw that back into the blender. Just there, and bang. And so we've got 4 kilo of that, 4 and a bit kilo of ginger, and then we've got some galangal, which is a spicy ginger, and then we're going to throw some lemongrass in there, and then I'm going to decide later on what hops we're going to use. And then instead of hops, I'm going to put in things like cardamom. We could probably say even the lemongrass is a little in that category. Cardamom, some star anise, a chili or two, all sorts of things just to spice it up. After all, we are in Phuket, and this is going to be a Phuket blend. So there it is, ginger and galangal and lemongrass, and I'm going to throw this lemon in. It'll probably do a little bit of what's required. Okay, we're back in the brew room and we've got it all ready to go. Set that fermenter up later on in the middle. So we've got 17 litres of water in there. And now it's saying add the grain, but I'm going to add all my ginger. Yeah, so as I say, just going to treat it, see how we go. Okay, so it's all in there. So as before, I'm just going to use the whole process and do it as if I was brewing beer. So what we're going to do now is the mash step, and it's 66 degrees, and it's going to work its way through for an hour at this temperature, and it's going to rinse it, and then we'll up the temperature rinse it some more, and then we do what we call the mash, the sparge, which final rinse, and then we boil. Geez, I'm only a minute or two into this operation, and the smell already is just unbelievable. Well, this is for beer brewers, really, but I got a couple of minutes into it and I'm thinking, really, this ginger needs to be boiled. So even though we would boil during the boil process, I want to boil the fruit, which is not what you would do with when you're brewing grain. So I've upped the temperature to 95, and I'm going to ramp it up to that over the next hour and a bit, and then do my and have a taste to see where I'm at. Thought while I'm in here doing the ginger beer, I'd just take some readings of the 2 beers I've got going at the moment. I got a Munich Helles going there, and that's a week into its fermentation, and it's almost hitting its numbers. And over here I got a Bohemian Pils that I'm upping the fermenting temperature to try and get a little bit more out of the yeast. Anyway, we'll see how it goes, but that can probably come out probably tomorrow. Well, it's a pretty hot day here in Phuket, but thought whilst that's all doing its thing, I may as well do some lawn mowing, get this grass down. So for those that know how to brew beer and that, what we do after the boil is put in our hops. Well, for our beer today, these are our hops: cardamom seeds, black pepper, some star anise, and a stick of cinnamon. And I'm going to whack them in here and then drop them in for the boil. Okay, we've done half-hour ramp up. So we put the ginger in at 65. We've ramped up to 96, 97, and we've been on the boil on that temperature for an hour. So I think that's enough. I'm now going to do the sparge. Okay, we've finished the sparge. So we've put in about, in total, 26 litres of water all up. I've had a taste of the ginger on there. It's got no flavour left at all. It is rinsed out, so that's throw away now, and this is why it's not needed for the boil. So just letting that drain, getting the rest of it out, and it's down the real stuff. The ginger beer is down there in the bottom. Geez, I'm only a minute or two into this operation, and the smell already is just unbelievable. Well, this is for beer brewers, really, but I got a couple of minutes into it and I'm thinking, really, this ginger needs to be boiled. So even though we would boil during the boil process, I want to boil the fruit, which is not what you would do with when you're brewing grain. So I've upped the temperature to 95, and I'm going to ramp it up to that over the next hour and a bit, and then do my and have a taste to see where I'm at. Okay, we're halfway through the boil. Everything's looking good. I've pulled a little bit out. I mean, it looks the business. Colour's awesome. Smells a mix between, it's almost like a barley sugar smell. It's the sugar that I've put in there, the dextrose, to see. So anyway, we'll soon find out. I rigged up the counterflow chiller to bring the temperature down, and the fermenter's ready to go. So well, it's going to get down to the temperature, and away we go. And then I've got the yeast there ready to go. What are we using? There's this, that there. And then I suppose it's a matter of time. I don't know. I mean, I would expect, say, 10 days. We will then cold crash it and then put it into a keg and then see what happens. And then taste it. That's the problem with this sort of thing. It can take a long time, but that's if you're going to do it properly. Okay, we're nearly near the final step of the day, so using the counterflow chiller to cool down the the ginger beer. We'll get that down to around about 40 degrees. Then I'm going to put it into the keg, into the fermenter for maybe 10 days. Okay, we're back all locked away for the day. She'll start fermenting the next couple of hours and we'll see where it all goes. I've had a taste. Tastes very spicy. You know, and the sugar level's nowhere near what I was hoping for, but look, this is the first time at it. Anyway, we'll see. Well, let's see where it goes. I can post the gravity. Okay, we're back to the ginger beer and we're now going to cold crash it. It's got a gravity of basically 0, so that means there's no sugar. We've had some taste tests and played around with some acetic acid and some sugar or dextrose. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put that into the keg, what we're going to need, and we'll go from there. So what I've done is pulled out a bit of the yeast out of the bottom of the fermenter. It's critical at this stage for anyone that's not experienced in brewing that no oxygen gets anywhere near the ginger beer that's sitting inside this fermenter at the moment. We're going to connect CO2 to the top, and we're going to push whilst keeping it oxygen free, we're going to push the beer into the keg, and that's where the sugar and the acid will be. Okay, so here we are. Now we've got our sugar and we've got our citric acid now, and there's our keg that we're going to put this into, and that's fully sanitized. So the problem we have now is that we're putting in let's say homogenized or whatever items into the keg with the very clean ginger beer. So this is a little bit of a problem, but anyway, we're going to put in 2 grams. We're going to put in 18 litres, so 2 grams of citric acid per litre. So now I'm putting the CO2 into the bottle to replace the oxygen, and then we'll be ready to put into the keg. Okay, so we're now transferring the ginger beer down into the keg. So it's going into the liquid there, and we're forcing it with CO2 from the top, yeah? So that one, putting CO2 on the top, and there it's coming out the bottom into the keg. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to test now the ginger beer. So there it is there, and we're going to pour some in. Now, there it is there. I can drink this, yeah, and it's sweet. It's sweet and it's very strong. But what I've found is that what I add here is seltzer. So it's an alcoholic water basically. Yeah? And that is the perfect drink. That is just so good as a ginger beer. I can't believe how good it is. So now I'm on the track of how to go forward with this ginger beer. So a cross between the ginger beer, so that's 4 kilo, nearly 5 kilo of ginger and all the spices and everything that I'll put in there. Probably too much sugar, probably 20% too much sugar, but mixed with the seltzer. And if you can look up what that is just the most perfect, beautiful drink.